Hey guys, I wanted to read a little bit to you. Coming into Being by William Irwin Thompson. And in particular, I would like to share with you a little bit of what he had to say about the internet. Now, he wrote this in 1996, I believe, but it's all the more important today. So, let me just get to the page. Here we go. So, he's talking about how our contemporary predicament, I guess you could say, of existing in a time period where we're going towards a planetary culture, and we're going towards a planetary civilization. We're going to have to learn how to coexist without destroying each other, and most importantly, the medium is the message. So what we allow the medium of communication to be in our lives is what the message is going to be. If the medium is self-interest and allowing all of our demons to run amok online, and with new technologies, you know, the unconscious that hasn't been worked through is going to come out, and it's going to wreak havoc because we haven't worked through it. We haven't transmuted it into light. So here we go. Our new highly advanced electronic media, if used by evolutionarily unadvanced mortals, will lead to cultural annihilation. These new media that work with the speed of light require a new spiritual consciousness of light. They are so fantastically efficient that they cannot work to the good unless we are good. They can only be safely used if we tell the truth and live in the truth. If we try to check and control them for lesser purposes such as power, gain, misrepresentation, and the accumulation of wealth for private property in cyberspace, then blockages in the flow will generate distortions, noise, and a generalized cultural entropy in which no human relationships are possible. Sound familiar? We end up in caricatures of religion in the form of demonic states of possession, or William Gibson's dystopian nightmares of corporate disincarnation. Now, thanks to cyberspace, these states of possession are not simply psychic states. They have become virtual states that are not restricted to virtual reality. Sound familiar too? Nothing less than truth, goodness, and a Buddhist universal compassion are going to get us through this transition from industrialization to planetization. Our level of consciousness has now become the biggest obstruction to the continuity of human existence. We have made normalcy non-viable, and so we have opted for an up or out scenario in cultural evolution. We either shift upward to a new culture of a higher spirituality to turn our electronic technologies into cathedrals of light, or we slide downwards to darkness and entropy in a war of each against all. I mean, yeah, he was pretty hardcore about the way he described it, and very poetic. I really liked this passage. This is my favorite passage from this book so far. And what he brought to mind for me when he talked about industrialization to planetization, there's a distinct difference between the way an industrial society functioned and in a way this electric society is beginning to function. This planetary network, so embodied and manifested in its rudimentary forms in the internet. What we experience, of course, I believe, is all of that unconscious stuff that didn't have the medium to be worked through in the past, is being worked through now. I mean, the electronic media is an extension of our nervous system, is an extension of our consciousness, an extension of our being. And so it's not really a surprise that what's coming out first or with the great potential is the great negativity. And if you work online, if you make videos, you know that there are people out there who are just coming in for a debate or an argument, you know, trolls, the violence, the negativity, the pure, you know, these almost like demonic states that are embodied, you know, they're an extension of our conscious, our psychic states. I think this is so interesting because the internet itself is more like an extension of the new sphere, a physical manifestation of our society, our connections, our ideas, and even the way it's set up. You know, this network, this holistic web, more like a brain. All these metaphors kind of jumble together and resonate and create a very powerful message that, you know, what we put out, what we experience is what we're putting out. So what we need to do is allow this new manifestation of ourselves to be evolutionary in the sense that it is positive and transformative and creative, and it works through these lower negative unconscious states. It transmutes them into light, and I love his description, cathedrals of light. Because I think that's exactly what we need to do in this society. We have so much negativity, so many things we have yet to work through for ourselves, so many things that need to be not tamed, you know, not smited, but worked through in love and in compassion and mindfulness. The unconscious comes to the conscious. So what we're doing is creating some kind of collective manifestation, a collective consciousness. Let's create a society where all of those unconscious things that bubbled up and ruptured in the past through war and violence, and let's try to create a more harmonic civilization. And the only way you can do that is starting with ourselves and what we manifest here and now. With the internet, really especially with the internet, because it's going to be so important. It will be the connector. It will be the literal bridge upon which all planetary civilization will manifest and interconnect, and the medium and the message. So anyway, keep that in mind. Thanks for listening.